Happy Friday. Welcome to another Tech Tips 411 10 Ideas series episode. I'm super excited if you are tuning in live today to learn about Wakelet. Let me know by dropping where you're from, tuning in from, and in the chat. I'd love to know. And if you're watching this from the future, thanks for tuning in. So welcome to 10 Ideas for using Wakelet. Super excited to share this session with you and some of my favorite tips for ways you can use Wakelet for your diverse learners. So let's go ahead and dive in. For those of you that I don't know, if you've just stumbled across this video, my name is Jennifer Hall, and I'm an educational technology specialist for Atlanta Public Schools. And that means I provide technology training for teachers and collaborate with them on effectively integrating technology into their standards-based lessons. Well, welcome all the way from Wisconsin. Love it. Thanks for tuning in. Wow, look at this. Maria, all the way in from the Virgin Islands. Oh, I wish I was in the islands. Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. All right. So the goal for this session is these are a quick series right here where I'm just running through 10 ideas, 10 ways that you can use these tools. Each day is a different tool. Each day has got 10 ideas. So it's kind of a quick little mini PDs. So let's go ahead and dive in with our 10 ways to use Wakelet. Idea number one. So this is probably my absolute favorite way. So I'm starting with my favorite one right off the bat, and that is to use Wakelet for Hyperdocs. For those of you that might not be familiar with Wakelet, you've heard of it and you're like, I don't know what Wakelet is and how I can use it. I would say you definitely want to explore it. I'm going to put a link in the description for like my all about Wakelet session. Today is going to be ideas. I'm not going to dive in on how to create a Wakelet. But I will highlight some of the great features of Wakelet. So what Wakelet is it's a content curation tool. Web-based, anything on the web can be grabbed and put into a collection. So if you're familiar with Hyperdocs and creating a pedagogically sound lesson in a Hyperdoc format, either in Google Slides or Google Docs, I've even seen them done in Sheets. Some folks have used Office 365, but the idea is taking a online document and putting all the links in there for a lesson. That's the Hyperdoc concept, but I think you can level up and use Wakelet for that because it is easier to manipulate and change content, and it has a built-in magical feature, and that is immersive reader. So if you're interested in using it, the Hyperdoc one, I actually have a template that you can make a copy of, and that's what's great about Wakelet is that you can, it's like Pinterest a little bit, you can follow other people and you can like theirs and make copies of their collection. So my first tip would be to use Hyperdocs, and the reason being, it is so powerful because it can use immersive reader. So that means anytime, if you're not familiar with immersive reader, anytime you see that little piece of paper and the little speaker box right there, that means that you can turn that on and it will read aloud for students. So now what was an activity for students is more accessible for those diverse learners. So I can click on, have it read to me, speed it up, slow it down. I can go through and have female voice, male voice. I can go into the formatting of it and I can adjust the text size because maybe I have a visual issue and I didn't have my glasses on. I need to be able to adjust that. I can decrease or increase the spacing. I can change the fonts, which is good for our dyslexic learners that need a different font. I can change the color of the screen behind what I'm reading. So that means that if I have a visual discrimination issue where that bright white screen is hard for my eyes, I can do that. So that's what makes Wakelet so powerful. It has that Microsoft Immersive Reader built in. I can label the parts of speech as a language learner. Now, each student would go in and access the collection and they would change out what accessibility features they need inside their Wakelet. So you're not going to set up those settings. They're going to pick it. So look at this line focus for our emerging readers, 1 line to 3 lines to the whole document. I can even use the picture dictionary for language learners. And I think it's hilarious that the word was video and it gave me a video cassette. Kids have no idea what that is, but I can also scroll through and I think it is over 70 different languages that you can go through and you can convert that text. So if you've got Spanish speakers, English is not the first language. You've got folks French, Spanish, Italian, German. There were languages on there that I was not familiar with. It's quite fascinating. You can scroll through there. They can pick the language that is their native language, and then now that text is going to be accessible for them. So I picked Spanish right here, and I'm going to turn that on, and it converts the entire document into that language. Okay. So I got my friend here from Sweden. So this is pretty awesome. I don't speak Swedish, but I could go in and I could convert this. So this is a great tool to make text accessible. So actually, if she had created something in Swedish, I could use it to convert it to English. So there it is. That's tip number 1 in using the power of immersive reader and creating a Hyperdoc self-paced lesson and using that in your with your students. Okay, here's my second idea, which is to create a weekly agenda. So if you want to be able to change out content very easily, you can do that by adding in instructions and the date so the kids can see what's kind of coming up, and you can easily copy, duplicate it, and make changes. And I've used emojis to kind of make it stand out, but I can add in into a Wakelet, I can add in a hyperlink to anything. I can add in text, which I can format and have headlines and bold and italicized and link to things. In addition to that, I can also link to Google Drive files, upload a PDF, add in an image. I can include a OneDrive file. Just about anything can be included in that agenda so that I could share this one link to my students and change it out. And students can kind of see what is our agenda for the week. What do you think? Think that's a pretty good idea to have a weekly agenda? All right, so that's idea number 2. And that's also a template that's available, and I'm going to share that out. So if you want to grab any of these templates, you can. So let's take a look at idea number 3. I think this one's a really cool idea because you can embed in videos. So from YouTube, or a link that's to like another video, it would work as well. But this is actually, I took and created a video playlist of all of the videos I've created on quick tips or anything that's about Google. So YouTube is great that you can create playlists, but they do it in a linear way, and it's kind of hard to see what each video is about. It just shows you the thumbnail. If I create a video playlist, then I can see what everything is, and it gives me a little more context about what those videos are. And what you can also do, because you can drag and drop the order of it, I can put them in the order that I want for students to watch those videos. So it's very easy for me to create a video playlist inside of Wakelet. What do you think? Playlist, pretty good idea, because as you're wanting for students to review content, you might have that playlist of things that they can reference and go back to. So that's idea number 3, a video playlist using Wakelet. All right, idea number 4, research and resources. So our students have to go through do project research. And I think this is a great way to have students create content. So the first couple of ideas, let's see, Stacy says, love the agenda idea. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Maria says, excuse me, also love the weekly agenda. Great, awesome. You can create the content and students can view it, or students can be content creators themselves. So students that are 13 or older can create their own free Wakelet account, because again, free is my favorite price. So they can create it. So I actually had a teacher that used it for a project last year where the kids had to do a coding task, and they added their resources in that Wakelet that they collected resources in. So you can use it for resources. I was using this as an example of, I do a lot of video production with students, and I was pulling in all the different resources that we can use for video editors, free resources, and all of that, and have that ongoing collection. But what's great is you can collaborate on your collection, which means that I can share it. And so if I'm working with a teammate, virtually, we can collaborate and pull our resources together. And because it's a visual indicator of what's going on in that collection, yeah, you could do that in a Google Doc, but because when you put in links, it gives you that visual cue of what that content is, it just works really well. Now, you could let your younger students add as a collaborator to yours. They don't need to have their own account. You can share out the link, and I'll show you guys where that is, but you can share out the link and let your students as guests add to it as well. So your younger students can contribute. They just can't have their own account. Wakelet requires that you are 13 or over to create your account. All right, here is idea number 5. As we're getting ready to launch the school year, how about newsletters? You could do a newsletter where you capture what's going on for the month in that school year, for the school year. So I've created these templates right here, and I kind of went with just kind of a generic, like that time of the year, so that you could use this and you can change out the content by adding in highlights, what students are doing in the classroom, what are upcoming events at the school, and all of that. So I'm going to show you guys that template as well. I'm going to go through these, and then I'm going to go to the main one and show you a couple of templates. So differentiation, this is the other thing that's very powerful. So if I take that Hyperdoc 5e model, and I love it. Celeste says newsletters. Yes, it's a great way to organize stuff because you can easily add in, you can have collaborators so everybody can add to the conversation. So differentiation, I, as a former ELA teacher, when I had to do my unit checklists and plan for students, I could have up to 4 levels of students in my classroom. I could have my, students that need remediation. I've got my emerging learners and my on learners, my gifted and talented students that I want to make sure that they have, the support that they need. What's great is because I've got the ability to have immersive reader in there and I can have this template. What you can do is you could start where we plan for the middle. Like that's what teachers do when we have to differentiate. We plan for the middle and then we differentiate high or low based on what we need. So you could start with one Hyperdoc and then change out the content. And one of the things that one of my schools does, they have colors for their classes. You could also do colors for your Wakelet collections. So one of the things that I thought about, like when I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I use a color coding system, but you could think of it like a stoplight, kind of like where students are, kind of like green is good, red is your emerging. You could choose whatever colors you want, but I have a color coding system and students won't know that they have a different Wakelet except for they have a different color. They might not necessarily know that there's content is much different. And I'm going to show you those templates here in a second. So differentiation, being able to plan for the middle and differentiate high or low. Katie says, I would love some of those templates. Guess what? I'm going to show you where to get all of those templates there. You can easily copy them and add them to your Wakelet collection. Yes, great with the differentiation. Yeah, definitely, because you can do it undercover. You can easily send the link to your level 1 students in Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. Then you can send your level 2 and so forth. And the students are all getting that Wakelet response there. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Stacey, it's a great way to differentiate. Yeah, I think so. And I love the idea. And if you're not familiar with Wakelet, you can change the background color. And that can be your visual cue for your system. You don't tell your kids that what the color means. They'll just think they're pretty and cool colors. But you'll know that when you see the green or the blue or whatever you come up with, or for the background that you choose, what level that one is. Okay. So differentiation is idea number 6. Let's look at number 7. How about a digital portfolio? Again, your students can add to the collection, and this is a great way because the things that they can add to it. They can add text, so they can write about what they did for their task or project that they want to talk about. They can add in images, so they can upload any screenshots of anything that they did, like physical projects. They can add in any documents from their Google Drive or their OneDrive. They can add in any links or anything. So maybe they did a portfolio project where they did an Adobe Spark video, or maybe they have a Flipgrid response they want to include in their portfolio. So any links can be available there, and you can put in any videos. So if they've uploaded anything to YouTube, they can add that in there as well. So it's a great way to have a digital portfolio. So I really like the collaboration aspect and the fact that you can collaborate on projects. So if we were doing a little research on William Shakespeare, the fact that I could easily share the link. So once I create it, I'm like the team lead, and then I would share that to my colleagues, and everybody would have the ability to collaborate and add to the Wakelet collection. What's cool is they just released, like literally in the last week, the ability to monitor who has the ability to just view or contribute or whatnot. And what's really cool is the way people contribute. You can only add to the Wakelet collection and take away what you've added. So if you're worried about students deleting other people's work, you can't. You can only delete out what you've added. So for example, I mentioned the coding project. The engineering teacher had the students do an online coding project, and she wanted to collect everybody's project in one place so she could go through and view them all. And because they were in a Wakelet collection, everybody could see each other's projects. So she shared it out to her students, and they were able to add their link. And if they goofed and they needed to change it out, they could delete that, but they could not delete their colleagues' information out. So if you're worried about students going in and deleting other people's stuff, it doesn't work that way. You can only add and subtract your own content. So collaboration is very powerful on any type of project. All right, number 9, how about using it as a back channel? Because you can have a dedicated link in your Google Classroom or your Microsoft Team. And because students can add to it, they can add questions via text. They can add links that are resources for whatever's going on in the classroom. They can post questions there as well. And because it's housed in one place, you can go back to it. So you could have a back channel for your current unit of study. Very easy to link it in Google Classroom or in your Microsoft Team. And the last one that I thought was pretty cool is, how about having a virtual word wall? Let's see here. I got digital portfolio might be very handy for my colleagues, especially the craft teachers. Yeah, that would be really good for them to be able to track students' work, like art projects and band performances and just about anything. You've got lots of options on that portfolio. So this last idea is a virtual word wall. And the idea here is that I can include text definitions, but because it's got immersive reader, that's going to make it accessible to my students. And because I can add in images, I can also put a visual cue for that vocabulary. So then it houses like this interactive vocabulary word wall. What do you think? So that's idea number 10. So those are my 10 ideas. But what we're going to do is we're going to hop over real quick, and I'm going to show you where each of those templates are that I've created and kind of highlight some of the features I was talking about. All right. Stacy says, yes, never thought of a word wall. That's perfect. Thank you. I was really excited when I started this series, and I was like, oh, I got to share Wakelet. But if I'm going to come up, every session has 10 ideas. I was really trying to think of what would I do if I was in the classroom. And I think that's a really powerful one. So definitely use it to create that word wall. All right. So let's hop over here. And to get to Wakelet, we go to wakelet.com, log in if you want to get your free account. Celeste also loves the word wall idea. Thank you. I'm glad you like that one. So here I am in my profile, and you'll see you get to put your little bio here. And I'm going to drop this link actually in the chat that will go out to all of you guys right now. But I'll also put the link in the description of my the video. But if you go to that link right there, it's going to take you to my profile right now. And you'll see that there's my lesson templates. I've got just a regular Hyperdoc. There's that agenda. All of the content can be changed out. So right now they're placeholders with my Genmoji. And if you don't want my Genmoji, I'm not offended. You can put your own Bitmoji in there. But I did have those as placeholders just to kind of show you what it is. But here's what I like. So if I go into this is the blue Hyperdoc. And this is how I know it's blue, is you can change out the background on your Hyperdoc. So notice the blue background. That's the only difference. So students would just think you pick different colors because it looks cool. So I can change out this content here, but notice I've got information in here. You can make a copy of this. Notice I've used emojis to spell out any instructions for students. So we're going through the 5E model: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. And I've got all the steps, and you can change out your content. So from here, I can choose to invite folks. If this is my collection, I can invite folks by clicking on here, copying this link, sharing the code, sending it out to folks. I could also via email connect to people that have a Wakelet account. I can go here and manage my contributors and see who's in it. So if I want you to only have temporary access, I can take that away. But again, that's how I can invite contributors, and I can share that so we can all contribute to it. I can easily click share and push this out as a QR code. So if you wanted to post this, if you're in the real world, you could post it in your school so students can come in and scan, and parents can come in and scan, and it's available. I can directly push it to Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams. If I want to tweet it out, I want to use Remind, I've got some different options here. I can Facebook it. I got all that options. Or I can just copy this. The other cool thing is I can export this as a PDF. So once students have created it, it can be exported out as a PDF if you needed to put it in a portfolio place. Okay. So that's how I can easily share it. I can click on the 3 dots here. I can see analytics to see who's taken a look at this, if someone's copied it. I can change my visibility. By default, your collections are private. So you want to either put unlisted, which means you could share out that link because it's just content for your students, or you can have it be completely public and anyone has access. They can take a look at it. Okay. So those are the ways that you can change out your settings for your collection. If I go here to edit the collection, again, I'm just going to reiterate all the things I can add to it. I can change the cover image. I can jazz it up. Notice I've got all the Bitmojis. These are all of the things I can add. I can, again, URL, add text, YouTube, tweets for social media stuff. So if you were like capturing your open house and you wanted to grab all of the tweets that people shared during your virtual open house, you could do that. Anything from bookmarks, so you can go back and grab those. Any images, you can upload a PDF. You can pull from your Google Drive, OneDrive. Here's the other magical one. You can add in a Flipgrid video. That can be a response as part of your activity. So all of those can be added. But the other magical thing, and I'm going to click done right here. I'm going to just show you some other options, and that's under layouts. So that was a linear one. So like, I like the idea of using Wakelet with Google Classroom, because if you have an assignment that has like 4 or 5 links kids need to have, whether it's a Google Doc, they need to go to a website, they need to pull up the rubric, they need to do a little research in a Google Doc, So you got 4 or 5 links that you want to put in Google Classroom. So if you do that under your assignment, you can have multiple links. But the problem is if you want them to go to those links in a particular order, or if you're like me and you started posting the links and then all of a sudden you realize, oh man, I wanted this one to be second and this one to be third. You can't reorder the links once you put them in there. So you have to delete it, add in the link again. But by doing it in a Hyperdoc, you can easily share it out and you can customize the links and you can reorder them very easily. So I'm going to go back over here real quick and show you one of the other examples of the different look and feel that you can get. So there's the lesson templates. Grab those. Here's the newsletter templates. A lot of people were excited about that. So grab that. There's one for each of the days. Here's my video playlist. Here's some other resources as well. So I'm actually going to go into this video production one. And I'm going to show you that you have a different look and feel you can get for each one. So I'm going to choose to edit this collection. So notice I put my jazzy little theater background. If I go to edit this collection, the magic is happening. It's thinking. I can change my layout. So by default, it's linear, first, second, third, fourth, whatever. You can even label with a text, step 1, step 2, step 3. Or just because it's in that order, they should know to follow. That's the lesson progression. But I can change the layout from media, so if I took this to media, it would be like this, which is going to give me more information about whatever the links are. And anywhere there's a plus, I can add something in between. I can choose to easily reorder, which means I can drag and drop and change the order of this very quickly. Okay. I can also change the layout to be like a compact view, which is still media, but not as much information. Grid view, okay, which means it's going to get, this is what I had this one in grid view, which is a side-by-side for 2 elements on each one. And then there's what they call the mood board, which is how I did my playlist. I did it as a mood board. So I was able to see that playlist. So this is how you could do like a choice board for your students and have each one of these to link out right here. Thank you, my friend. It's such an awesome tool with engaging options. Thanks a ton. Oh, you are welcome. I'm glad that you are liking these ideas. So notice I can change my layout. So I'm going to go back to this one and go back to grid view. And that's the way it's going to stay. Up here, I've got this public. I can change it to unlisted. Again, only me and the people I share the link with, or I can turn it to private and I'm good to go. So all of those templates are available on my profile, which I've dropped in the link. In the chat currently, and I will also put the link in the description. So for those folks that are watching this from the future, you'll be able to see it. But here's the other magical part that I want to point out about Wakelet. So I actually I got to do a blog post on Wakelet and using it for differentiation and the Hyperdocs idea. I was super excited to have that opportunity. The word wall didn't let you copy. Guess what, Maria? I will double check that right now. So I did that. That's bonus 1. And bonus 2 is that you can search for Wakelet collections. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are a ton of templates out there that you can borrow from other folks and you can search on there. And some people have view only, which means you're just going to share it if you like those. Or 2, if it allows you to copy it, then you can modify it. So you said my word wall wasn't open. Let's fix that right now. Let's go down to my word wall. I got so many fun things on here. Word wall, and I'm going to go here. Let's see. Created. And it could very well be that there it is. It should be open, but I will make sure that you can make a copy of it. And that's important. So I went in here and this is in the settings on the side. So actually this works out. So I can point out where the setting is. If I choose to edit my collection on the left-hand side under the settings wheel right here, and I just might have missed this one, and I did. Under the settings, I can choose to copy collection, allows people to copy. So I apologize. It's fixed right now. So that's under settings. This is also where I can upload my own background image, and I can choose who can contribute to this as well. So now that I've done that and I've updated it, boom, magic is happening. Give it a shot. You should be able to get it. Maria, thank you so much. I'm glad you like the collections. I've been building them. I had a lot of fun. I kind of went down the rabbit hole last night. Creating this. Thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate the hard work, and that I'm always happy to share. I mean, the best is sharing with teachers, because let's empower you guys. And maybe you'll come up with another idea and you'll share it with me and we'll add it to the Wakelet bank. So there we go. Those are 10 ideas and resources you could use for Wakelet. What do we think? Thanks, my friend. Allison, good to see you. I'm happy to share. I love you say expertise. I'm just trying to drop the knowledge if I've got it, and give ideas as that you will find beneficial. So Questions, comments, thoughts, please drop them in the chat if you have them. For those folks that came in live and joined me, thank you so much for your time. If you're one of those folks that happens to be watching this from the future, I so appreciate it. I will be continuing my series next week. I'm still debating on what's going to be first, but I will tell you that we'll be doing some Bitmoji stuff, some Google Keep, some book creator and all that. So make sure to like and subscribe to YouTube or like Tech Tips 411 on Facebook. So you'll be alerted when it pops up, but I will be going live next week with some new sessions. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you on the next one.